Grigory Mukhrichan, leader of the delegation. And now, we would ask the two team captains, number 4, Sergei Bабинов of the Moscow Selects, and the Canadian captain, Newell Brown, to please come to center ice for the ceremonial face-off and exchange of gifts.
Year-old Alain Raymond from Rimouski, Quebec. His 37th appearance this season. He has 22 wins, 12 losses, 3 ties, and a goals against average of 3.30. 4 shutouts on the season so far. Game 1 in an 8-game tour by this Moscow Selects team. We talked about the youth on the squad. And in some ways, Howie Meeker, we've not seen a lot of young touring Soviet teams in the past few years. Usually they send over a veteran lineup for events like the Canada Cup and tours of this nature.
I think, as Harry talked about in the opening, they're going to make doggone sure that the youngsters out here have got some steadying influence, and that's back in the blue line. They've sent some of their better players. When things get rough and the pressure gets on them, they're going to have someone out there who's not going to panic. But I'll tell you something. You just watch these Soviets, and where I'm constantly amazed at their puck handling at high speed. They're absolutely unbelievable with the puck, moving it from a fella who's going high speed through a crowd, over a stick, between the legs, right on the tape. That's the cue, or the key, right on the tape of the pass receiver.
Harry, that was quite evident as we watched the pregame warm-up between these two teams. Soviets with a great deal of finesse as they, even in practice and the warm-up before the game.
They don't have that term cement hands in Russia. It seems that everybody's got a great touch. I wonder why, Howie. Do you think they just practice that earlier and longer than we Canadians?
Well, there's no doubt about it. You walk into any minor hockey rink or any junior rink in the country, and all the kids are doing is shooting the puck at the boards, bouncing it off the boards, and you walk into a European team's practice, and all you hear is click, 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 click. They pass the puck.
Underway, first period of action. The Moscow Selects against Team Canada, and the Soviets cross the Canadian line offside. On the first shift, the referee in charge of proceedings this evening is Jim Beckman. From Calgary, the linesmen are Gavin Frick and Gordon Lee. Pryakin, number 31, Nemchinov, number 8, and Karin, number 15, the forward line for the Soviets. Canada able to clear it out of its zone momentarily now. Pryakin goes in with a chance. They score! Karin, number 15, beating Raymond 1-0 very early in the game.
Well, the cue here is that watch the backhand pass to Karin, who scored the goal. Just look at this, right on his stick. He just stops it and lets it go. He didn't even look or anything else. And the goalie reminds me of Waugh, who plays for the Montreal Canadiens. All he did there was come out and fall down and open the hole, and in it went right between the legs.
That was a bad giveaway by young Sean Anderson at the blue line, and turnovers in the center zone to the Russians are dynamite. They convert them into plays quicker and better than most teams you've seen.
1-0 for the Soviets. 16 seconds into the opening period, and the Soviets come to the Canadian line and across again. This time, it's picked up for Canada by Zalapsky. He's able to clear it out on the right side, and Canada offside at the Soviet line. Go back and show you another replay of the goal scored by Karin just 16 seconds into the opening period.
He caught the goalie moving across and not standing up, and it really wasn't a hard shot, but it was in the right spot. The giveaway happened just before this. Anderson tried to go into the middle of the rink with it. The Russian backchecker picked it off, turned, and caught Canada with 4 guys going the wrong way.
Play in the Canadian zone once more as the Soviets keep it in at the line, kept in that time by Shiryaев, number 14. Canada able to clear it down into the Soviet zone. Zablaski cleared it in, picked up for Canada by McLaren. McLaren unable to control it, and back for Canada now. Brian Benning. In along the boards, the Soviets out of their own zone cleanly. Now loose in the center ice zone. Osipov, number 23, got it over on the right side. Shiryaев. Now for Canada. This is Prof, number 3. Serge Roy now gets it to the Soviet line. The shot of the first save for Shundrav.
We might have two of them that are going to go down from center ice with shots from center ice tonight, Harry.
Well, it always amazes me why goalies do that on a long shot like that. It must be a reflex reaction that they kind of hide behind when they're not quite sure. I mean, that puck was not a threat to go in at all unless the goalie missed it. Why he didn't stand there and catch it is beyond me. But Howie, I never scored many goals and I never played goals, so what the heck do I know about goaltending?
Karpin into the corner after it for Canada, number 19. He lost it along the boards. Davidov for the Soviets and cleared ahead on the right side. Osipov can't come up with it now. Loose in the center zone. Davidov, number 27 with Osipov, takes the shot. He's wide of the target. Into the corner, Davidov once more, number 27. Checked by Felix. Now Gальченюк for the Soviets. Davidov once more. Davidov around behind the Canadian goal. Finally lost control, but the Soviets maintain the advantage. The shot that time from Gальченюк. Davidov in behind the Canadian goal. It comes down to Osipov. Osipov working in, takes the backhand, and the save was made by Raymond. Backhanded down into the Soviet zone and picked up by Fedotov. Ahead for Bабинов on the left side. Long shot. Raymond handled it easily. Now Greenlaw for Canada. Greenlaw checked along the boards, but got it into the Soviet zone. Back for it there is Vozakov, number 5. Greenlaw comes up with it to the side of the net, and it's gloved by Shundrav. Zarley Zalapsky is a newcomer to the Canadian Olympic program out of the Alberta Junior Hockey League with Fort Saskatchewan, native of Edmonton. He's just 17 years of age.
Yeah, he's a very high draft in the '86 National League draft, and I thought he looked pretty good in that game we did between Finland and Canada and Hamilton.
Back to the Soviet line and claimed back there by Shendelev, number 35. Now Torgaev, 26, takes it around behind his goal. Good hit along the boards for Team Canada. In after it for the Canadian Poulian, number 12. He couldn't control in the Soviet zone, and here come the Moscow Selects, led by Vozakov to the Canadian line, and no further. Trent Yanni for Canada, number 5. Yanni for Zalapsky, and Zalapsky is taken out at center ice.
Well, two theories so far I'm beginning to question. They say that the Soviet teams that constantly come over here don't shoot till they see the goalie's whites in the eyes, and 3 or 4 times already this evening they let shots go from questionable angles. They're just directing the puck at the net, and they're sending people to the net, something they never ever did before.
This is Ronning for Canada, the leading scorer, and across the line. Ronning, good move, good speed, hit the side of the net as he tried to play it out. Back to the line for Doug Clark. His shot blocked by the Soviet defense. Kept in, however, by Canada. This is Ronning. Cleared it through. It comes to Benning. Here's Benning's shot off the leg and bouncing toward the goal. Ronning in the corner for Canada. Can't get to it in there. Picked up by Joseph. There's a shot blocked by the Soviet defense. Soviet netminder Shundrav looked a little shaky on that. Oh, the shot never got through. Benning once more, and that shot, a bullet drive, is deflected wide. Brian Benning out in front. Kept in by Canada. Hutton along the boards. In for Ronning in the corner. He got it back to the line. There's the shot, and that one got through. Shundrav got a piece of it. It was wide of the target. Canada tried to stop, but the Soviets blocked that and start back out. Pryakin, number 31, taken out at the line. Good hitting right there at the Canadian line as Pryakin was upended by 2 Canadian defenders.
Well, you get a feeling when you watch the Soviets here that they play just at one certain pace, and that's it, and they play at that pace very well. That's a pretty good hit, and Another thing I've noticed, Harry, the Team Canada defense are standing out and taking the man. They're not backing up that much, but that last shift, Ronning, Joseph, and Hutton come in and up the pace just a little bit and totally controlled the shift.
Yeah, they were really unfortunate they didn't score. Ronning's a great little player, Howie. It's going to be real interesting to see whether he can survive the holding and hooking and interference that goes on in the National League.
The shot from Herkes, the save from Shundrav, and the face-off will be in the Soviet zone. Don McLaren, native of Kitchener out of York University. King claims he's his most consistent forward this season.
Ron Smith, the assistant coach and who worked for me in Vancouver, says that he thinks McLaren could play in the National League now.
Shot fired wide by McLaren there. Canada controlling in the Soviet zone. Anderson tried to slide it through, and Miller couldn't come up with it. Soviets back to the Canadian line. Cleared out in front by Prokhorov, number 13. Yasmikin, 29 along the boards, lost it. Canada into the neutral territory. Herkes just dumps it into the Soviet zone. And back for it, Gimaev. Good pass on the right side from Gimaev. Yasmikin going in, taken out. That time by Zalapsky. Bабинов takes a heavy check into the boards. It's cleared out in front. There's the shot. Zalapsky and the save by Shundrav. Osipov for the Soviets, number 23. To the Canadian line. Lost it momentarily, now claims it along the boards. Osipov upended by Zalapsky. Gальченюk gets it back to the line. Bабinov banned on his shot, and Canada comes out. Led this time by Perry Prop. Prop to the Soviet line, and he takes a hit there from Babinov. There's the shot. Raymond the save on the shot by Pavlov, number 30. This is Pavlov once more. His shot dribbles through, and Raymond hangs on for a face-off in the Canadian zone. Back at the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary, the face-off is in the Canadian zone. To the left of Alain Raymond. Serge Roy for Canada after the draw. Roy head on the left wing for Benning. He couldn't control it. Picked up for the Soviets by Torgaev in Canada. Clears it back into the Soviet zone. Backboard, Shendelev, 35. Canada gets it out in front. Boulian's shot went off a skate. Anderson keeping it in behind the net. This is Martin Boulian for Canada. Played it back to the line for Clark, and Clark lost it. Raymond has to come up and play it around on the board. Pavlov takes the shot. Blocked by Clark. Pavlov didn't get a second chance. Canada dumping it into neutral territory. And it slides all the way down. Shendelev for the Soviets.
Good defensive zone coverage by Canada there. The Russians had the puck for a while, but never really got a good scoring opportunity.
Harrin, number 15, breaking through, couldn't get the shot away. Chris Felix for Canada. And his shot missing, or his pass missing Ronning. All the way down and touched by the Soviet Smirnov. Got a microphone on the Canadian team coach, Dave King. We'll listen in.
What's the talk out there, Trenny? Keep them talking out there, gang. Come on, we're doing a really good job, guys. Come on, we're doing a really good job.
I think Dave King's an excellent coach and has done a superb job of getting a real tough project off the ground. This Canadian national team with the Olympics 3 years away.
Ronnie.
Face off in the Canadian zone. Joseph Can't control it for Canada. It's picked up by Pryakin, 31. He gets it back. They score. Harrin, his second of the night. And how quickly they can make it work. Harrin from Pryakin. And that's the same way the first goal was set up.
There you can see Fabian Joseph goes to the point, reaches out for the puck. The Russian defenseman pulls it by him and then throws a cross-ice pass. There it is there. If he'd have stayed in front of him, that play never would have occurred. And they shoot that thing on the fly as well as anybody.
Well,
one small error, Howie, and it's in the net.
And number 31, Sergei Pryakin. The time, 9:03.
Out in front, the Soviets control once more. Gimaev into the corner. Yazmikin in behind the net for the Soviets. Shattered by Yanni. Comes dangerously out in front now. Hutton for Canada. 2-on-2. Hutton slides it through. Chance for the Canadians and a good save by Shundrav on Fabian Joseph that time. Comes back to Joseph. Joseph over for Herkus. His shot. Shundrav down to make the save. And he held on for a face-off.
Well, I watched this youngster work out today, and I was very, very amazed with his quickness. Here's the lash save, and watch here how quick he is with his right leg. The player hangs onto it, and tried to go by, skate by him, and put it into the open side, the short side, but Shundrav just put out that right leg and made a save. But they don't allow too many 5-holes, and when they do move their feet, both goaltenders that were out here at the workout today keep the stick on the ice between the legs.
Vozakov for the Soviets. Ahead for Osipov, number 23. Out in front, Canada now chance. And the backhand went wide from Mike Miller. Herkus along the boards. Miller goes in to help out. This is Shendelev for the Soviets. Vozakov. And ahead on the left side. Gальченюk couldn't get it over there, and Canada back to the Soviet line. McLaren in after it. Comes up with it. McLaren takes the shot. He's wide on the short side. Benning dumping it into the corner. Osipov for the Soviets behind his net. And Vozakov starts things out for the Soviets for Davydov. Davydov takes the shot. And that one off the leg and dribbled through. Picked up for Canada now by Benning. Brian Benning to the Soviet line. Couldn't get a shot.
Benning got hit in the face there on a poke check that came off his own stick and came up and hit him in the face.
Benning is on the Team Canada bench. Offside at the Soviet line. We'll see if we can pick up what happened to Brian Benning. He's being attended to by the Canadian team medical staff at the bench.
It's a good job, Dan. You're working hard. We're doing a job now.
Well, he has the puck coming through center ice here, and it just loses it. And it seems to me he reached out to try to gain control of it. No, he just...
I was wrong on that one. He gave him one of those little taps with it right on. How'd the referee miss that one?
Cuts to the chin. Roy for Canada. Got it ahead for Von Karpen.
How about those replays, eh?
They can tell you a lot, can't they, Howie? This is Perry Propp for Canada. Nowhere to go with it, so he dumped it into the Soviet zone. Backboard for the Soviets. Smirnov. Soviets to the Canadian line, trying to work across and get that shot away is Znarok, number 28, got it out front. Karpen now for Canada. And Karpen just dumps it in for fresh troops. That one took a funny bounce and came right out in front of the Soviet goal. No Canadian players were there. Long shot, well wide. Znarok got it back for Shendelev. And Canada breaks up that attack. Starting back is Greenlaw. He's taken out at the line. Comes up with it again. Greenlaw going in, takes the shot and the rebound. Covered by Shundrav.
Oh, a type of game like this, you start to look for Canadian kids and Soviets as well who do something outstanding. And Greenlaw so far and Ronning are the two guys for Team Canada that have really just been a cut above the average.
Pryakin chasing it for the Soviets, couldn't come up with it. Raymond has a broken goal stick. Canada has to get it out. They do.
Now, if they show Raymond, he's got just the bottom half of the stick in his hand here.
It's not going to help.
Like a ball hockey player I played against many moons ago.
Zalewski falls on it behind the Canadian goal, and that's a whistle that Team Canada needed rather desperately, with Raymond standing with the wrong end of a goal stick. It is 2-0 for the Moscow Selects, leading Team Canada. 7 minutes, 11 seconds remain in the first period. Back for a face-off in the Canadian zone to the right of Alain Raymond. Nemchinov loses the draw that time, and Canada able to control and clear it ahead on the left side boards. Takes a long bounce and gets back to the Soviet line. Picked up back there by Harин. Soviets able to dump it into the Canadian zone. Nemchinov, number 8, goes after it. Nemchinov ridden off the puck, and Canada breaks out. Led by Dwayne Hutton, number 18. Hutton to the Soviet line, and kept in by Ronning. The Soviets get it ahead for Harин. Harin clears it to open ice.
This is the first game on ice. This ice has been out of the building while the Flames were away, and it's not very good. And you're seeing now that the puck is bouncing quickly, and it snows up very fast. Should be a lot better in the second and third period.
22, Sean Anderson, native of Montreal, and a member of the Memorial, or the Canadian Midget Champion, Lac St. Louis Midgets, back a year or so ago. Played in the Spengler Cup in 1985.
Everyone expects him to go very high in the draft this year.
Long shot from the Soviets wide of the target. This is Serge Roy for Canada. Flips it to neutral territory. And Vozakov claims it for the Soviets. Just ahead of Herkes for Canada. Back for Vozakov behind his goal. Herkes digs it out for Canada. Working against Shendelev. Soviets now to their own line and across, led by Yazmikin. Yazmikin over the line on the left side, couldn't get any further. Vozakov dumps it into the Canadian zone. Collision at center ice. Herkes was involved in that against Gimaev, big Soviet defenseman. Here's Serge Roy for Canada now. Roy had nowhere to go. Osipov dumps it into the corner. Gальченюk after it, number 21.
This is a big Russian team, Howie. They're hard to take out and pin against the boards.
This is Karpin for Canada. Down the right side. Tried to work out in front. Shundrav goes down. It wasn't a tough save, but the puck rolled to his feet. So he hangs on for a faceoff.
I know how you have some strong opinions on the length of players' hockey stick, and you commented this morning at practice that the Russians, to a man, have all got sticks that are much shorter than you might see if you saw a Canadian team working out. Is that maybe a reason why they handle the puck so well?
Well, that's a big part of it. It's very, very tough if the stick is cut off chin high or even higher than that to keep the full blade of the stick on the ice. And these people just do so well with their stick handling, their passing, their pass receiving, and all the moves with the puck. It's that has to be a very, very important part of it.
Face off in the Soviet zone to the left of Shundrav. He hasn't been tested very often so far in the first period. 4:52 remaining.
Well, a few shifts ago, John, Mike Miller, number 7 for Team Canada, had a puck bounce loose right in front of the Soviet goaltender Shundrav, and instead of making an intelligent play or hitting him or getting the shot on the net and making him make a save, he just pooped it by the corner. And you can't throw away scoring chances like that against the Soviet team. You have to do something constructive with the puck.
Team Canada on a power play. We'll see what Dave King's group can do with a power play advantage. First penalty of the hockey game. Soviets able to carry in a broken stick right at the line, and Smirnov took a shot. Now Yanni has it for Canada. 1:27 left in the Canadian team power play. Back for Trent Yanni at the Soviet line. He dumps it into the corner. Miller goes after it. Number 7 for Canada. Working against 2 Soviets in there. Back to the line. This is Clark. Over for Yanni. Yanni fakes the shot and slides it through. Canada unable to get a shot on goal. Yanni has it again. They're running along the boards. Running, working in, takes the shot, and Shundrav had the save. This is Chris Felix for Canada, keeping it into the line. Yanni on the other side, gets ready for the shot, and trying to lay it out in front. He had an opportunity to get a shot on goal.
Well, he tried to get it by a Soviet defender to one of 2 Canadians standing in behind him. There's no way in the world he was going to do it. He had to move in and either get the shot from the scoring position himself or draw the defender to him and then pass it.
32 seconds left in the power play. Claimed in the Soviet zone by Nemchinov. Sean Anderson for Canada. Back at his own line with 15 seconds left in the Canadian power play. Herkus takes it across the line. And the Soviets bring it out quickly. Now Canada right back to the line. Hutton tried to lay it out for Herkus on the right wing. Soviets able to clear it and kill out the penalty.
And talking about long sticks, a few moments ago on the power play, Chris Felix, number 22, was coming out of his own zone, went from his forehand to his backhand and lost the puck under the toe of the stick. His stick's too long. It's shocking when you see someone carry the puck and you can see daylight between the toe and the center of the stick, or the center of the stick and the heel. He's going to lose the puck.
Canada the shot from the line. That one deflected wide after Clark let it go. Soviets to the Canadian line. Good opportunity for Yazmikin, number 29. And Raymond comes up with a save. Yazmikin is the gentleman you were talking about.
And just
at the opening of the game.
Watch him go here to the outside. Look at him handle the puck, take it to his backhand, cut around the defenseman, and then slow up. And I don't think he made a real good play trying to score the goal, but maybe Raymond made the good play on that. But I'll tell you, he can motor, folks. Reminds me of Eric Nestorenko.
He got that leg out there, Howie. You'd have had to have a chainsaw to get at him with it. You weren't going to, with a harmless little slash, you weren't going to even make a dent.
Oh, and what I like about it, too, is that he cut down, or he slowed down and then cut towards the net. The other defenseman, Team Canada defenseman, could have come across and really give it to him, but that didn't bother him. He made a very good play out net.
Soviets dump it back into their zone. Smirnov, number 25, has a pass ahead for Osipov. He couldn't control it. Joseph for Team Canada. One bank off the boards, got it into the Soviet zone, but not deep, and the Soviets bring it out again quickly. Over on the right side, Yazmikin fires one wide. Greenlaw for Canada. Ahead for Joseph, and Joseph didn't see it coming. Vozakov for the Moscow.
Ice to pick up that trailer, the open man.
Osipov beating it through for...
You saw there, Howie, Ronnie's got a nice little change of pace that got him in the clear a little bit on that Russian defenseman. I think he's going to play, and I would, a year or two ago, I'd have said no way.
Well, I would think this year with Team Canada playing against the quality players in the world will improve them more than a year anywhere.
Offside, Canadians at the Soviet line. McLaren.
Size, or they can make it or not, but you'd have to agree with Harry. Number 23 out there, Osipov, is a small guy, and number 5 on defense, Vozakov, gee whiz, he's smaller than Ronnie, but he's built like a tank. But nevertheless, he's a small guy, and I think if you got the skills, and the size of the heart is more important than anything else in this game.
Pavlov for the Soviets, checked at the Canadian line. They come right back. Znarok got it in across. Pavlov takes a shot from the short side. Raymond had the angle well protected. Pavlov again for the Soviets, couldn't keep it in. Dribbles out across the line, Torgaev, number 36, couldn't control it. Into the final 8 seconds now, the first period with the Soviets leading 2-0. Flipped up and over the boards, and time for one more face-off before the opening period ends.
Well, you know, Team Canada's down just a couple of goals here, and as we've said, all it was 2 little mistakes. Normally, I would think at Canadian hockey you might get away with one of them, maybe both of them, but against the Soviet team, you just don't give them an opportunity to make a play to score a goal, because they'll do that.
Харин has 2 goals for the Soviets, and that's the story of the first period. The Moscow Selects leading Canada's Olympic team 2-0 on goals by Харин at 16 seconds and 9:03. All right, and here's a look at the Moscow Selects roster. As far as defensemen go, at the top of the list there, Fokin, Babinov, a couple of veterans, along with Vozakov, perhaps their best defender of that opening period. And a lot of youth on this Soviet team. The average age is 22.5 years. As we mentioned earlier, 6 members of the Soviet Moscow Selects touring Canada this time were members of the gold medal winning World Junior Championship team. As far as Team Canada is concerned, a fairly set lineup for Dave King much of the year. There are 3 or 4 new faces on the team, with the likes of Miller, Herkus, Bolian, Greenlaw, Brown, have all been with the team. Anderson and Zalapsky are newcomers to the team and have joined in recent weeks. And the coach, Frank King. Frank King, I suppose, is the overall coach of Team Canada.
Well, he's running the Olympics,
as the chairman of the Olympics. But it is Dave King who is the coach of this Canadian Olympic squad headed for Calgary in 1988.
I think, folks, what you should watch for is number 27, Davydov, number 21, Gальченюк, and number 23, Осипов. They're all juniors and all play together.
There's Ron Smith counting his money. He always had a lot of dough, as I recall.
He's buying dinner tonight, I'll bet.
Well, there are 2 good guys there, and Guy Chiron, who isn't there, he's probably off scouting, is another good one. And we Canadians are lucky to have those 3 guys that are as dedicated to this project as they are.
I'll second that.
And for you fans that are in the cities that this tournament is moving to, if you can get into the rinks, do so. You'll enjoy the evening.
Fort William Gardens in Thunder Bay, Ontario, the next stop. That is on Tuesday or Wednesday night. Then on to Sault Ste. Marie, Elliott Lake, Noranda, North Bay. That's going to give the Soviets a little taste of a Soviet hockey tour, I suppose.
They're getting
They're going to get them into the hinterland.
They're getting the Precambrian Shield Tour. You know what that is, John?
Precambrian Shield.
Trouble.
That's up North Country, rocks and snow.
And folks, you'll see the game played like more and more Canadians want it to be played. Speed, skill, and finesse is the order of the day, and that's what you'll see here.
Second period is underway with the Soviets leading Team Canada 2-0.
Look at them, look at them. They're all going around in circles. None of them are anchored to any one position.
I noticed one thing, though, Howie. They're a little like the North Americans. Some of those plays don't work when they're on their rear end very well.
Oh, no. They hear the pitter-patter little feet.
John Anderson goes back into the Canadian zone after it. He's beaten to the puck by Pryakin, but Pryakin comes up and plays it back to the line. No one is there. Guarding the point for the Soviets. Canada trying to get it in across the Soviet line. Now Ronning dumps it in on the backhand. Joseph goes after it, along with Hutton. Good hit along the boards, and the Soviets bring it out, led by Karin. He has the 2 goals of the hockey game so far. Sets up another opportunity there for Pryakin, and he fired wide. Ripped it.
Raymond heard that one. He didn't see it.
That's right, and it was in. It was in. It was on the net. He was down on his knees before he let it go.
Gamayev for the Soviets. Left it there, picked up by Shiryaев, and ahead for Karin on the right side. Karin going in, drops it back, and the Soviets misplayed that one a little bit. Chance for Canada. Here's a 2-on-1 with the puck. That's Mike Miller. Miller takes the shot and didn't miss by much. Miller went in with McLaren that time. Canada into the Soviet zone. Benning takes a shot. That one off the skate and just wide. with Miller standing beside the net for the Soviets. Shiryayev got it ahead on the right side for I.Gimayev. Out in front of the Canadian goal and cleared that time by Zalapsky. Prokhorov, number 13, has it taken off his stick. Yasmikin then gets in and gets a shot away. The save by Raymond.
Boy, did he shoot that puck.
He's a player, that kid, isn't he? How would you like to have him coming to your National League camp next year?
I'd do a little dance of joy.
So would Gorbachev. It wouldn't be of joy.
For the Soviets with the puck, Davydov, number 27. He lays it off behind his own line. Soviets get some fresh troops out there.
I said everything complimentary about him prior to the game. He was one of the two fellows I said they should watch. I didn't know he could shoot the puck like that.
For Canada, Brown got a shot away, and it came back to him, and he fired it wide on his second opportunity. Fedotov along the boards on the left side. And the shot by Yanni at the point, blocked by Osipov.
They block shots, too.
They'd throw him. If he was in the National League, a forward blocking a shot, they'd threaten to throw you out of the Players Association if you do it twice.
Osipov along the boards for the Soviets, can't come up with it. They'll hold for a face-off with 16:48 to play in the second period.
And Harry, if I was a coach in the National Hockey League and I had a skilled forward do it, I'd throw him off.
Absolutely.
Mike Miller here. I said in the first period had a glorious scoring opportunity. Panicked a little bit. It's a 2-on-1 rush, and you don't get too many of these against the Soviets. And I just think here he didn't make a very intelligent play at all. Harry.
Well, he had McLaren, their best goal scorer, and if you're going to shoot, you got to make the goalie stop it. I mean, he took him right off the hook.
You have to bring that defenseman to you and make the pass, or if he doesn't come to you, you have to go wide and get it by him. He'd have hit the shot, if it had been on the net, would have hit the defenseman.
This is Znarok for the Soviets to the Canadian line, drops it back, the shot, and it's blocked out front by Chris Felix for Canada. This is Felix backhanding it into the Soviet zone. Shendelev, 35, can't get it out. Ronning being a little pesky in there. Now to neutral territory. Canada back in across the line. The shot right on Shundrav. Holds it out. Still 2-0. Moscow Selects leading Team Canada 15-58.
Well, the Soviets in many ways are like Canadian teams. They're up 2-0 and they drop off in the checking. I've just noticed in the last two shifts the Soviet players time and time again have skated by a player they forced to move the puck instead of taking him out. And if they continue to do that, Team Canada will get scoring chances.
Nemchinov, Pryakin, and Karin, the big line for the Soviets out there. And from the face-off, they're able to get out across the line. Play broken up momentarily by Canada. Now, Ronning trying to get it ahead on the right side. Joseph didn't see it coming. There's Karin. He's 23 years of age. He was a member of the Soviet team on the 86 tour.
He's got both goals tonight. Soviet wings lost to the Red Army in the Russian Championship, in case you're interested. For the 7,000th time in a row, the Army won.
It's written that way sometimes. The script.
And it's written in stone in that country. The Army wins or else.
Nemchinov kept it in, but Canada breaks out now. Pass on the right side. Miller played it into the slot beautifully. McLaren the shot and the save by Shundrav.
Well, that's the third good chance Canada's had in the first 5 minutes of this period, and it's certainly more than they had in the first full period. And they got to get a goal. I think that'll really turn them on. I don't know whether one goal will set them off for a win, but I think they're looking for a nice goal here.
Well, Mike Miller, who has had a couple of opportunities and goofed him, just made a tremendous backhand pass there to his teammate in the slot, and that was a skilled pass.
Mike Miller's drafted by Hartford, and I know that Emil Francis thinks that he's going to play for them someday.
It's McLaren along the boards and held there for a face-off. Herkus moved in to help out against Prokharov, number 13.
What about this idea, Howie? You draft a player who's a good-looking prospect at 18, but he's not good enough to play for your team right away, so you make a deal and send him to Russia for a year. Do you think he'd be better?
Would he ever?
Good opportunity for Mike Miller right there. As Miller moved in, took the shot, Shundrav moved out to make the save.
I'd make a deal and send him right to Team Canada if all possible. That's the place where they're going to get the training, how to play the game without the puck, and how to get the... Here's the face-off, and here's the puck lying free there, and the Soviet goaltender made a pretty good save. He started down but didn't go down, was able to recoup and come back up and get the puck in the left shoulder.
Miller into the face-off circle for Canada, lost the draw that time. Soviets controlled. Prokharov, 13. Didn't get it out. Yanni kept it into the line. Yanni in for Herkus. Herkus goes to the other side. And a shot that time from Zalapsky. Just trickled wide.
Zalapsky lost the puck on the pass reception and had to recover it and couldn't quite get ready to shoot it.
And it wasn't a good pass. That's the other part of it.
At the other end of the ice, good save by Raymond.
Did you see the play that kid tried?
Yes, Meekin.
Oh! Now, there are the kind of shoot-ins the defensemen worry about. I know you get hit in the shoulder and you think, oh my God, if that was over one more inch, I'm going to get hit right in the face.
That's where he got it that time.
Look at this, Howie. Watch this attempt. He wants to come back out front.
Oh, almost. Raymond got his stick there. I'll tell you, that takes great skill.
Here's the... Oh, my goodness, those kinds sting.
How can you shoot it in and get it that high?
He might have been mad at him, Howie. I know players that get mad at a defense, and maybe he got ran down here just before, and he says, on the next rush, I'm going to bounce it off his forehead and see how he feels. But that guy took it right in the mouth. Although you're not allowed to get hurt if you're with the Russian team, so he'll be right back.
Face-off just outside the Soviet line. And here they come again, winding up with a shot fired well wide.
There's a mulligan in the corner. They've learned that. Davydov and a junior.
Well, one thing that I noticed when I watched some of those junior games on television, Howie, was that the Russians were very aggressive, and they weren't about to allow any team to take advantage of them by extra shoves or extra body checks. This guy's another big guy. All the junior players that they brought over are 6'1" or more, and things look good for the Russian team in the future by the looks of it. With kids like him, number 29.
27, Davydov heads to the penalty box.
27, Evgeny Davydov, 2 minutes for roughing. The time, 5:50.
Well, this is a good opportunity for Team Canada now. They've had a few better chances in the second period, now on the power play. Chris Felix for Ronning. Ronning tried to slide it through for Mike Miller, who was deep right at the blue line. It didn't get through.
I don't think they're going to worry about Miller. Look at the defense are one zone apart. Not worrying about him. He's right up here on the Soviet blue line.
Here's Miller now taking a pass across the line. Plays it around on the boards. McLaren goes in after it. McLaren coming up with it. Got it to Miller beside the net. Miller turning, couldn't get the shot away. Gets it back to the line. And a bad pass put Felix outside the Soviet line. Canada has to regroup and carry it back in. Good move by Miller. Miller has an open man. Felix the shot. Shundrav the save. That was a well set up play after the miscue at the line.
Shundrav is very, very lucky. There's a great pass by Miller right to Felix. Felix tees it up and lets it go. And the goaltender, instead of attacking, was backing up and on his way down, but able to make the save. Had the shot been high to either side, he was beat. I got to go along with that Miller. He's not too good with the passing of the puck, and sometimes the brain doesn't keep up with the stick, but he's got some good shifts and does make some good plays.
Quick release. Here's Benning, the shot, and Shundrav, another save, an easier one that time.
Canada's got to get, if they're going to shoot from the point in the power play, they have to get some traffic in front of the net, get their sticks on the puck on the way through, pick up the rebound, or get in the goalie's way. You got 3 chances here.
Come on, Marty, you got to jump now. You got to go. Look for that loose puck in there. 2 shots halfway up, guys. High or low.
I think Dave was talking to the players in front of him or the players on the ice?
I think he was yelling to the players on the ice there that they need some traffic.
Benning takes a shot. That one off a pad and out across the line. Benning goes back for it. Now Roy. Boulian for Canada, number 12, has to take it back in across his line.
And I think the theory, Howie, by putting this guy away up the ice is that you can get the defense to back away because the Russians go right at you in all zones killing the penalties.
Yeah, but they're not paying any attention to him at all.
Here's a penalty coming up against Team Canada. Nemchinov skates back. The Soviet net is empty on the delay call.
Look out.
Canada finally touching the puck, and so the power play advantage ends with 21 seconds left, and the Soviets will have a power play for about 1:30.
Now here's where the Soviets have made all kinds of money in the past on these when they get the power play.
There's the penalty.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a penalty, but I guess the referee had to call it. But in 20 seconds, it's going to be the Soviet power play. And if it's anything like most Soviet power plays, we should see some excellent passing.
That shot from the point from Vozakov.
I think what you can look for is just what you saw there. The pass from in deep out to the man at the point, and he lets it go. They practice that all morning.
Chance for Canada. They score! Set up by Karpin.
That's a big goal. Now the Russians are screaming to the referee about the penalty, and if we see the replay, you'll see the Russian defenseman was tripped. Whether it was a penalty or not, I don't know.
Joseph gets the goal. It is 2-1.
Oh, that's a dive right there. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just watch this great pass. Joseph had sense enough to get into position in front of the net and just dump it up high. Great goal.
It was a nice pass, too. He had to put it up in the air to get it over his stick. Fabian Joseph, who is responsible for the second Russian goal, is now even.
Karpin made a nice play to set it up. Two to 1 now. Soviets on a power play. Gamayev, number 16 for the Soviets, got it ahead on the right side for Yazmikin.
What a body check Fabian Joseph threw in the corner there. He needs a stepladder to get up high enough to hit him properly, but he really surprised the Russian player and sent him right on his keister.
About 5 or 6 years ago, I was associated with the Air Canada Midget Tournament, and they held it in Victoria. Fabian Joseph was a member of the Nova Scotia team, and head and shoulders one of the better players on the ice. Carried them right into the finals, and skating was a bit of a problem with him, but great hockey player, very creative.
1:16 left in the Soviet power play. They've had difficulty getting out of their zone. Now in across the Canadian line. Pryakin couldn't get anywhere. Smirnov plays it over on the left wing for Shendelev. Now for Shiryaев, number 14, around behind the Soviet goal. This is Karin. He has 2 goals so far. Karin for Nemchinov. Karin into the corner with a puck. Back to the line. That shot off a skate from Shiryaев. Shiryaев, another chance. That one weak and wide. Pryakin was waiting at the side of the net. Pryakin gets it from Karin. 24 seconds left in the Soviet power play. Back for Smirnov. Into heavy traffic out front. Canada able to break it up. McLaren starts down. And offside at the line was Brian Benning.
Watch the Soviet power play. It used to be they tic-tac-toe it around and around and around, and they kill 1 minute and 45 seconds to get one good shot. now what they do is they gain control of the puck in the corners. They get it out to the point as fast as possible, and he lets it go, and everybody heads for the net, or he passes it across the guy in center ice, the other point man, and he lets it go. All they're doing is creating an opening at the points and shooting the puck at the net. They're playing like Canadian teams.
Gimaev over on the right side for Yasmikin. Back to the line, Vozakov into the corner. Yanni comes up with it for Canada. Out across the line, Greenlaw gets it across the Soviet line. This is Joseph, Fabian Joseph into the corner, and it's taken away by Gimaev. Over on the left wing, Yasmikin fired wide. In after Prokhorov. And another penalty coming up.
Well, in that first period, Yasmikin let 2 shots go, just wrist shots, and both of them are just the speed of a bullet. Right there, he had a chance to shoot the puck at the net, and he wound up, and by the time stick made contact with the puck, he was checked.
Here's the penalty, Greenlaw going off.
Greenlaw took a retaliation penalty here. He had just been hit by big number 35 from Russia, Shendelov, and he didn't like it, and he turned around and tripped him. And those retaliation penalties are murder in any league, and they seem much more difficult to kill off than the penalty you take just at a good hard play.
Soviets a full 2 minutes in the power play. Gimaev with Yasmikin and Prokhorov. Up front for the Soviets. This is Vozakov getting set for the shot. That one off a leg. McLaren able to clear for Canada. McLaren, good pass over on the left side. Going in, trying to get the shot away was Newell Brown, and he crashed into the boards. Gimaev takes it on the left wing. Sliding it out in front. Canada had it well covered out in front of Alain Raymond. 1:26 left in the Soviet power play. Cleared all the way down. Joseph was waiting at the Soviet line.
He just came off the bench, and he came off the bench almost offside and got in there a little quickly, and that cost Canada about 120 feet of ice that Russia would have had to gain, killing this penalty off.
Fabian Joseph, a native of Sydney, Nova Scotia.
He's a tough little customer. I remember him playing for Victoria, and he and his buddy McKeegan did a real good job all year for him in that Western Junior League.
Played for your old team once, too.
Can he skate?
The Marlies.
Toronto Marlboros.
Can he skate well enough, Harry?
I don't think so. For a little guy, you know, how if you're small, you got to be able to really move, and he doesn't have that kind of quickness.
Pryakin for the Soviets gets it out across the line. Being checked by Karpin, can't get anywhere with it. The puck in the Canadian zone. Yanni for Canada. Over to the open side, and the Soviets able to keep it in. That's Fokine. To the side of the net, there's Харин right out in front. And that time, Raymond got over to get a piece of it. It's
tried to put it up, and I think the puck sort of stood up. Harry, watch.
Yeah, you're right, it did. He was going where he should have gone, but it was a little high and right out of the rink. So Canada gets 2 breaks. They didn't get scored on, and the face-off's outside the blue line.
52 seconds left in the Soviet power play. 2-1, Moscow Selects leading Canada's Olympic team. Bабinov for the Soviets. Over for Fokine. Ahead now for Pryakin, number 31, to the Canadian line.
God, he's big, isn't he? Look at the size of Pryakin.
Back for Fokine. Over for Bабinov. He slides one in. And Karin tried to set it up out front for Canada. Newell Brown. And he tried to clear that one. It goes out of play at the Canadian bench.
Well, that's the first time the Soviets have tried to tic-tac-toe the puck around and work it into the guy in the slot who was wide open there, but the passer didn't get it in the air.
Canadian team captain Newell Brown.
Newell Brown's a real fine young man. Vancouver Canucks drafted him about 5 years ago. He had a great career at Michigan State. He's a real intelligent guy. And I think this program for him is ideal because I think with his hopes of making the National League aren't great, and yet he's still playing hockey at a nice level. But a lot of young Canadians like to be in this game, Howie.
Yeah, it's a great, great spot for him to learn and to play and to get educated.
Just 9 seconds left in the Soviet power play, and Canada forcing the Soviets in their own zone. Osipov Number 23 working out across the line to center ice. To the Canadian line. Takes the backhand shot. It's weak and would have been wide. Back to the line. Smirnov took a shot. That off a skate. And Canada has killed out the penalty. This is Greenlaw for Team Canada to the side of the net. And steered back into the corner by Shundrav. Greenlaw still going after it.
That Greenlaw, you know how he's only 18 years old. He's a draft. He's played pretty well tonight.
I think he's head and shoulders the best Canadian so far. And he's big and he's strong and he hangs onto the puck and makes good plays.
Action picking up in the second period. The Soviets out in front of Canada 2-1 with 7:39 to play. Lots more baseball action ahead on the Sports Network as we move through the Grapefruit League season and into the regular season. Canada trying to clear it out front. That was Hutton, couldn't quite get it there. Back to the line, Joseph goes after it for Canada. He's beaten to the puck, and it's taken in offside.
Well, the other day in the Toronto paper, I read that Sean Anderson and Zarly Zabaski of the Olympic team are among the 5 top juniors eligible for the NHL draft in June. The others are Joe Murphy, Jimmy Carson, and Scott Young. And as Harry and I just mentioned a moment ago, on a period and a half, Jeff Greenlaw has been the one outstanding hockey player Team Canada's had.
That's Ronning in the corner with a puck. Lost it there. The Bozikov. Canada able to keep it in. Back into the corner. Joseph is after it. Now Ronning comes up with it for Canada. Ronning trying to slip it out front. Ronning still with a puck. Behind the net. Works himself out in front. Took a backhand shot. That off a stick and wide out in front. And Joseph was tied up. Couldn't get a shot.
Looks a little bit like Gretzky behind that net, doesn't he?
Controlled it well back there.
He scored a lot of goals in junior hockey coming out from behind the goal. It's not quite as easy against guys this size.
Chris Felix makes the play to get it across the line. It comes to Felix once more. Felix dumping it into the corner. Joseph after it.
That's a two-hander.
And a penalty coming up against the Soviets.
That's a fraction of an inch away from a three-hander.
Another look.
Boy, did he leave
and then he cross-checked him.
Hey, you're not, at least I'm not used to seeing aggressive play like that by the Soviets, and that's just super to see them hacking and shoving and pushing.
The young fellow that plays for Leningrad in the Russian elite league.
Sergei Shendelev. So a Canadian power play with a face-off in the Soviet zone. 6:32 left in the second period. They send out the veteran defenseman to kill this one off. Fokine and Bабинов move out.
Babinov's been a real good player over the years for Russia.
This is Trent Yanni firing it around on the boards. After it, Herkus. Herkus couldn't get it any deeper, and the Soviets able to clear. Yanni for Canada setting up the power play. Good pass with open ice. Here's Herkus to the line. His shot off a stick and wide. Right out in front. And Shundrav got a piece of that one. In behind the Soviet goal and back to the line. This is Yanni winding up with a shot just wide.
Team Canada just with excellent pursuit of the puck, anticipating where the puck is going when it's shot from anywhere and at the net, and then moving it back to the point and hitting it to the open man and the shot on the net again. I don't know how that puck didn't go in.
He lost it in his feet and couldn't get it up, and before you knew it, he was behind the icing line.
So the faceoff comes outside the Soviet line.
There's Sergei Babinov. Boy, I'd like to have seen a guy like him play his career in the National League, especially for one of the teams I coached.
Fokine for the Soviets. Has it taken away. Chance for Canada. The shot fired wide. Yanni pinching in to keep it in play in the Soviet zone. Yanni gets it to Herkus. Herkus tries to get it back to Miller, who's covering the point for Yanni. Dumped into the corner once more. McLaren for Yanni. Yanni took the shot. Sharp angle. Shundrav had it covered. 56 seconds left in the Canadian power play. Soviets dump it down.
Well, Yanni improved his angle a little bit on that shot, but I don't think went quite far enough. He had room to go another 2 feet and then find lots of room to put the puck in the net.
This is Benning for Canada. Left it at the line for Miller. Miller slides it in. The shot, Shundrav, the save. The shot from Bullion that time.
It's a great pass by Miller.
Miller got it to Ronning. He tipped it into the Soviet zone. Bабинов after it. Ronning tries to claim it along the boards. It comes to Anderson. Anderson, a back pass to Miller. Miller tried to slide it through for Anderson. And the Soviets almost had a good scoring opportunity with Pavlov there waiting for it. Canada still in the power play for 5 seconds. Chance here. Out in front, Von Karpin is upended. Soviets back to full strength as Nemchinov crosses the Canadian line. Nowhere to go with it, so he takes it back to center ice. Smirnov offside. I'm a little disappointed, Harry Neal. Smirnov has been out there several times now. And
well, I'm waiting to tell you that I'm impressed with Smirnov. On ice, he's a smooth, refreshing player, and his father's got a great business.
I don't know if he's the heir to the family fortune.
Ah, don't tell me that.
Alexander Smirnov. Roy got it to the line, and it trickles out. This is Nemchinov for the Soviets. Over on the left wing for Shiryaev. Into the Canadian zone, and Canada tries to dig it out.
I think Team Canada's playing much, much better, and one of the reasons for it is I think they've established in the minds of the Soviets that if they handle the puck, they're going to get some bodily contact. And I've seen 3 or 4 times where the Soviets have not made an intelligent play because they knew they were going to get checked.
Another penalty against the Soviets.
Interference that the referee called, and in the National League there's tons of it going on, but it was interference, but a marginal play, I would say, when it happens away down in your zone. But I think Canada came out this period, Howie, and Dave King said to them, look, these guys are just a decent hockey team. There's no reason for us to go out and be afraid to do anything. Let's try and create some chances here, and you don't have to go crazy about gambling. Just when you get a chance, try to do something with it. And they've played quite a bit better, and actually they're a little unlucky not to be tied.
I have to agree with you. They're handling the puck with much more confidence and making or trying to make good plays, and that's the key.
Canada on the power play. Trent Yanni has to go back behind his own line. Long pass, right wing. This is Joseph into the Soviet zone. Can't get the shot away. Joseph comes up with a loose puck behind the Soviet goal. Back in behind for Herkus. Herkus is ridden out by Bабинов, or Fokine rather. And the Soviets are able to clear after that.
Take the net, take the net!
Yanni ahead for Herkus. Herkus lays it out from the right for Joseph. Joseph goes to the left wing. And Benning is offside over there.
Well, one of the greatest assets a player can have in this game is legs, to be able to take advantage of a pass that puts you home free. And I asked Harry a few moments ago about Fabian Joseph, and he took a great cross-ice pass, was about 6 feet ahead of Vazmikin, but Vazmikin caught him in, I would say, 6 or 7 strides, and a scoring opportunity was nullified because the Soviet player was the better skater.
It's a tough game to play if you're up to your waist in snow most of the night like I was, Howie. Trying to take those long strides. You think you're going fast. Your hair's flying and everything, but everyone's passing it. It's discouraging.
Well, I could fly on skates, but I'll tell you what, my mind couldn't keep up with my feet.
McLaren for Canada trying to lay it off for Ronning, and the Soviets start back. 56 seconds left in the Canadian power play as the Soviets, led by Znarok, cross the Canadian line.
I think Zarnav's got an illegal stick, 28. It's not wide enough at the tip of the blade.
This is Felix for Canada. Into the corner of the Soviet zone. They're trying to get it to Ronning in the corner. Ronning running along the boards.
That's the fellow with the puck there. Look at his stick.
Here's McLaren trying to work it out front. Now the shot just wide. Fired that time by Roy.
That ice is really tough in the last half of 6 or 8 minutes of each period. It's snowy and the puck's bouncing. That was unfortunate there that they couldn't get that shot on the net because it came out on a pillow.
Stick broke. Nothing we can do about the stick breaking. Good job, guys. Nothing we can do about the stick breaking now. Come on.
Serge is complaining about the lousy lumber from whatever brand of stick he's using, and King's saying, hey, if you'd hit the puck instead of the ice first, it wouldn't break.
But if they hit the puck instead of the ice first, the puck would go up into the Coke sign at the end of the rink.
14 seconds left in the Canadian power play. This is Doug Clark for Canada, number 21. Clark ridden out at center ice. Joseph over on the left side. Canada gets it into the Soviet zone. The Soviets back to full strength. Man waiting in the center ice area is Shiryaev. He gets it out for Gimaev. Clark takes over for Canada.
I don't know how they make those backhand passes. The whole doggone team makes backhand passes 30 and 40 feet.
With the curved sticks, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you'll take a look at the Russians anyway, and most Europeans, they only curve the stick, Howie, from halfway down the blade to the tip. And as a result, they do have a bit of a flat surface to play with.
Karin gets it back to the line. There's a shot blocked by the Canadian defense. Actually blocked by Jeff Greenlaw, Canadian forward. Into the final minute of the second period. Canada. Zalapsky going in, can't get his shot away. He was ridden out by Bабинов.
Zalapsky's got a nice change of pace. He can carry the puck. He might become a player somewhere down the line. I can see why the scouts are a little excited about him.
It's a tremendous asset, isn't it, to be going full speed, slow down a bit, and then all of a sudden the checker relaxes, and then you can turn on the jets and go again. That change of pace, time and time again, will put you home free or get you a scoring opportunity.
Good size, Zalapsky. 6'1", 195, just 17 years of age. A reminder, our curling coverage continues with a big event. The Silver Broom from Toronto. Daily coverage beginning on Monday, March 31st. And the first draw is at 1:30 Eastern.
Zarly Solaski. How big? 6'1",
195, it says right here.
How old?
17.
Money in the bank.
Came out of Tier 2 hockey a couple of months ago.
It's going to be something. Give him 3 years with this Canada program and look out.
Well, the program can help a lot of hockey players, Howie. I would think some fringe hockey players, players who need just a little more training and conditioning. Zalapsky, obviously with the skills he's got.
Just a minute now. Hold it, John. Fringe hockey players, once you get by draft number 7 every year, the rest are fringe hockey players. Everybody could use it, even the good ones. It's just a great, great program. Gives them a time to hone their skills and mature and play against adults. I would think the best way to go. You're going to the National League. Too bad there's not more room for more kids.
Good hit behind the Soviet net into the final 10 seconds now. Newell Brown was offside. I guess fringe is not the way to put it, Howie, in one way, but a lot of these players are drafted in the 7th, 8th, and 10th rounds by National Hockey League teams. And players like Trent Yanni, the 3rd round by Chicago in 1984. He may not have the skills when he gets first drafted, but a couple of years with this program, he may be able to help the Chicago Blackhawks one day.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt about it. An 18-year-old, when he comes out of junior hockey in the main, doesn't know one end of the rink from the other, and it's going to take him 3 to 5 years to learn how to play the game. And if he can do it here and not hurt an NHL team, fine. Hey, I think Team Canada came on just tremendous. I thought 2-0. If the Soviets get the next goal, it's school out, and we're going to have a yawner here. But if anything, it should be 2-2, and Team Canada, I just think, doing a heck of a job.
After a slow start, 2 goals by Karin, including one 16 seconds into the first. Team Canada is back within a goal, heading to the 3rd period. And the series continues in Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Well, we're going to find out whether the Soviet coach had any luck with his second period speech to his hockey team. I'm sure he reminded them that, hey fellas, we have to go out there and do a little bit of checking, and if we don't, we're going to be in deep, deep trouble. You'll tell, I would think, 30 seconds into the game. Isn't that Pryakin, number 31, a tremendously big hockey player? Gee, he's got to be 6 foot, what, 4, 5?
Yeah, there's
like
a great hockey.
A little basketball.
There's a great hockey player, John and Howie, Boris Mikhailov. Boy, would it ever been nice to send him out on the ice every third time. He was a great one against those great Canadian teams in the series they had. You know, do you think it's fair to have a favorite hockey player that's a Russian, Howie? He was one of mine, I'll tell you that.
He never quit, and could he make plays?
He is the assistant coach to Igor Dmitriev.
He's not as smart as I thought. He's kidding himself in the coaching.
Lots of guys make that mistake, though, Harry.
Yeah, you got that right.
Here's Hutton, for Canada. Couldn't quite catch up to it. But Hutton gets it in across the Soviet line. Pryakin, number 31, tries to clear along the boards. Good hit by Sean Anderson on a Soviet player who's still down. Chris Felix comes up with a puck, and there's an injured Soviet player back behind the play. Canada gets to the Soviet line. Nemchinov is the injured Soviet. This is Ronning for Canada, and he's mugged along the boards by Vozakov. We've got a penalty coming up.
I think he was hit on a surprise attack. He hadn't touched the puck. He was just going to along the boards to what he think was to get it. And Sean Anderson came in and gave him a forearm shiver right in the end of the nose. And these guys don't like that any more than the Canadians like it, Howie.
Shendelev is off now. Canadian power play. So there was no penalty on the injured Soviet, Nemchinov. But Canada comes up with a power play as Shendelev, 35, sits out for 2. And a face-off in the Soviet zone. Great time to get a goal right now for Canada. This is McLaren into the corner after it.
There's another phase of the game that they've improved, Howie, over the years, is Russia have won, I think, more draws than Canada tonight.
Soviet shorthanded, carried in across the Canadian line. Roy breaks up the play behind the net. It comes to McLaren. Number 20 for Canada. McLaren got away from a check by Shiryaев, but couldn't carry on. Ronning in behind the Soviet goal. It comes to Miller on the other side. He had trouble taking it out the boards, and the Soviets come out. Flip pass and play back. Soviets work in, shorthanded the shot, and they didn't miss by much.
What a play.
Shiryaев beside the net.
And I'm going to tell you that Brian Benning, did he ever give it to Shiryaев behind the net? After 8 games in 10 days, Howie, these two teams won't have a friend between them, will they?
Ronning for Canada in the Soviet zone. Team Canada on the power play. Back for Ronning. Zalapsky at the point. Ronning circles in front, plays it to the side of the net for Miller. Miller got it to the side. It trickled to the feet of Shundrav. But Canada was unable to get it further than that. As the Soviets hold along the boards, Znarok forces a face-off in his own zone with 41 seconds left in the Canadian power play.
Folks, what you have to do really, if you haven't noticed already, is watch the punishment that the Canadian players take when they go around the outside. They just, the Soviet defensemen are really two-handing them. There's a pass
there. Watch this check.
That's the way to finish.
He gives him one more, he says. Get down on the ice where you belong. When I hit guys, usually they fall.
Good left hook by Benning there, actually.
The pass the Soviet player made in the center ice area, about 14 feet in the air, over top a Canadian player, and it was timed just perfectly for his teammate to pick it up.
Zalapsky winds up with a shot, that one. Off somebody out in front and into the corner. Boulian for Canada, trying to get it back to the line. Now Herkus plays it around to the boards, far side. Yanni stayed there to keep it in play in the Soviet zone, 20 seconds left. in the penalty as the Soviets do clear it down into Canadian territory. Zalapsky. Zarley Zalapsky still with the puck for Canada, the Soviet line. And across, Hurkis now. Hurkis taken out. Yanni couldn't keep it in.
One more yard, Yanni had a first down, I can tell you that much. But I think he's going to the box for handling the puck.
Close his hand on the puck?
He took about 5 strides with it. The only thing he didn't do is straight arm somebody.
He didn't have many other options, though, did he?
Watch it, though. Comes up here.
Yeah, but
Oh, there's the hook.
That's not the penalty. That came after the whistle.
That's not the penalty. That's legal. We'll see in a minute here, I hope, the illegal play.
Well, as I said, between periods and just at the start of this period, it's quite obvious that the Soviet team are playing much, much tougher.
Watch this one now. He makes a shortstop play with 1001, 1002, 1003.
And that's in slow motion.
And actually, he was lucky that the whistle went because I think the Russian was gone with it.
Soviets on a power play. 2-1. Moscow selects leading Team Canada. Soviets to the line and across. Pryakin, number 31. Gets it back to the line. Now to Vozakov. Vozakov the shot. Deflected out in front, and Raymond is down to make the save.
I'm just surprised, very, very much surprised. They've had 3 or 4 power plays. Only once in the power play have they tic-tac-toed it around. Here you'll see it here. Come out of the corner to the point man, right across with something on it, and bang the shot. And they haven't changed from that at all. And that time it worked perfectly. 2 men in front. The deflection was saved, though.
Garvin for Canada clears it down into the Soviet zone.
I'll tell you one thing, Howie, the next time the puck goes to the point on this power play, if the Canadian defensemen don't grab the Russian forwards in front of that earlier, they're going to get scored on.
This is Karin, 15, back to the line. Vozakov goes to the other side, winding up with a shot. Shendelev.
They didn't. They were lucky there wasn't a rebound.
When the puck goes to the point, I don't know why defensemen don't just hunt for the wrong colored shirt and tie him up, because you're going to let the goalie have a look at it. Let's have a look at this and see what happens now.
Watch in front of the net.
His white shirt's out of there. What's Anderson doing? Is he going to block the shot, or? But that's a tough thing to teach defensemen how to do it and when to do it.
I don't know. It's a tough thing to get them to do. All right, teaches the same thing, I guess. And I can't understand it. It's by far the simplest aspect of the game.
Over a minute left in this Soviet power play. Nemchinov got it behind the net. Karin tried to clear it out front, couldn't. Karin now back to the line. Shendelev to Karin. Karin in for Nemchinov and back to Shendelev. Now it's tic-tac-toe. Karin behind the net. Nemchinov takes the shot. Raymond had the angle.
Well, watch the Team Canada checkers. They form the box. It's very, very mobile. And then when the puck is in the corners or behind the net, they're very, very tight, very close together. And the second that there's any indication at all, it's going to the point. Look at here. There's 3 of them right there. And they keep that box nice and tight and everything else. And there's no way possible for a shot from there to go in the net unless it goes in the short side. That should never happen.
Face-off is to the right of Alain Redmond. Soviets kept in at the line. Shiryaев winds up for his shot. Actually put it wide for Yazmikin, and Canada dumps it out.
I think we should compliment this fairly decent crowd that paid $10 a ticket. They're seeing a pretty good game.
They've been a little noisy at times,
They
too.
have.
Raymond leaves it for Doug Clark. Clark tried to clear it around, and it hit something and up over top of the glass, out of play.
Raymond's played well. He missed the first shot of the game. I guess it was the first shot real early in the first minute, but since then he hasn't had a lot to do, but he's made some big saves. And you know the mark of a good goalie, and that is not how many saves you make them, but when you make them, and he's made a few, and it's still 2-1, and they have a good chance of tying it and winning the game.
14 seconds left in the Soviet power play. Soviets keep it in. Gamayev, back pass over for Yazmikin. Yazmikin got it behind the net. Out in front, Yazmikin scores!
Unbelievable.
Yazmikin. It is 3-1.
It's a nice goal here. 5 seconds to go in the penalty. And this is one of the plays that you're talking about, Howie. But you see what happened there? The defenseman that went to the guy that actually scored the goal right here in the lower corner lets him go to the net. Turns toward the puck to see where it goes. Chases him, can't get him, and it's in the net. Doug Clark was.
He forced him off the puck, and once you force the fellow off the puck, that's all you're expected to do. Just take him, keep him going into the slot. If you don't, you're in trouble.
Bабinov for the Soviets. Controls and gets it ahead for Osipov, number 23. Osipov missed his pass in the neutral zone. Now comes back. Osipov for the Soviets to the Canadian line. Left it there. Wide that time. Fired by Fokine. They score again quickly as it came off the boards. And the Soviets have a 4-1 advantage.
I think it hit Zalapsky, the Canadian defenseman, in the skate and went up. It was a fluky goal.
Off the boards there.
Watch this. I think it hits the Canadian player. Yep. Hits the Canadian player and goes in the net.
You mishandle the puck behind your blue line once, and that's it for this club.
4-1 now is Hutton for Canada.
That's an unfortunate goal against him. It was puts him in a real hole.
They give Osipov credit for the goal, and it is 4-1 as the Soviets come back again. Raymond, an easy save there to kick it to Hutton. Znarok got it across the line for the Soviets. This is Pavlov. Pavlov, the backhand shot, the save by Raymond. Herkus for Canada. Can't control it as he crossed the Soviet line. It's back for Anderson. He winds up with a long shot. Shundrav steers it to the corner. Vozakov for the Soviets. Pryakin along the boards for the Moscow Selects. Gets it back to the line. Kept in back there by Shendelev, 35. Now Ronning breaks up the play momentarily for Canada. Cleared out in front. Pryakin.
I'd like a shot of that last pass at the netter to Pryakin. He just tried to deflect it to his teammate coming out of the corner.
Serge Roy for Canada. Ahead for Ronning on the left side. Ronning can't clear it. Now it comes to Ronning. And finally dribbles out across the Canadian line. Greenlaw for Canada, number 15. For Joseph. Joseph across the Soviet line. Had it poked away. Moving in for Canada, Benning. Unable to keep it inside that Soviet zone. And the Soviets right back. Nemchinov with Karin. Karin, number 15, has it in the corner. Now Pryakin, 31. And penalties coming up to both Canada and the Moscow Selects. A little mugging in the corner. There's the score. It is 4-1. Moscow Selects with 2 quick goals have a 3-goal advantage on Team Canada. Back live at the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary. A penalty each way. Roughing penalties against Benning and Karin.
That had the makings of a good preliminary bout for before the DeWitt bout you guys are doing.
That's Thursday. International hockey, they play with the players off the ice, 4 skaters aside. Opens it up a little bit. Yasmikin, 29 along the boards. Zalapsky got to it first, and now it comes to Miller, 7 for Canada. Yanni, number 5. This is Trent Yanni, can't get across the Soviet line. Zalapsky gets it over on the right side for Miller. Miller dragged it through with him, then played it back for Yanni. Here's Yanni with the puck, trying to work out in front. Has some room. Now Yanni back to Zalapsky. His shot was blocked by the Soviets. Yasmikin. Soviets to the Canadian line and across. They score! Shiryaev trailing on the play makes it 5-1.
Two things happened here that caused the goal to go in. Shiryaev, just watch the instant he gets the puck. Look at, he follows on right here, just bang, stops the puck, puts it in the heel and lets it go, and the goaltender just didn't really challenge at all. Raymond didn't come out at all, but there's not much that you can do in a shot like that.
That's a Mike Bossy getaway on that shot. He didn't have it on his stick very long, and he caught the goaltender moving and found the hole. The trouble now is, you know, Canada's played a pretty decent hockey game. There's still a half a period to go, and it could turn into a terrible rout and get them off to a bad start in this tournament. I don't think it's been a 5-1 game against Canada to date.
3 goals by the Soviets in the second period. There's a shot, and Shundrav makes the save, that time on Chris Felix.
But the Russians play now. I think, Howie, we'll see a lot more of those tic-tac-toe plays you've been talking about. They definitely play a lot better when they're ahead than when they're tied or they're in a 1-goal game. I guess most teams do, but they can smell some goals now. And I think you're going to see them go at Canada and make it pretty tough on them.
Soviets have outshot Canada 22-17 at this stage of the hockey game. That one dribbled through, and Shundrav holds on for a face-off. At the 88 Olympics in Calgary, Canadian athletes will go for gold. That's what Sport Canada's best ever assistance program is all about. Another shot, Shundrav plays that one up into about the 14th row.
Something else that's impressive about them is they seem to be very, very patient. They don't panic. It's a 2-0 game, it's a 2-1 game, and they go through that second period. They were in a little bit of trouble, but they really didn't take any chances on defense, and they started the third period a little more energetic, played a little tougher.
That one off the post.
Newell Brown has won 3 straight draws right back to either one of the defensemen, Felix or Anderson, and that one went right off the bar.
This is Anderson for Canada, for Newell Brown. Brown got it into the Soviet zone. In after it is Prompt. Now Felix. Newell Brown comes up with it. Brown, a backhand shot that's weak, and Shundrav hangs on anyway. See if we can see the one off the crossbar.
Here he goes, lets it go. Bong, off the crossbar. Had the goalie beaten from 58 feet.
Well, he was down on his knees.
The puck was rolling, and I think the goaltender, this guy goes down, Howie. I think by the end of the series, if this guy played all the games, that Canada scores some goals in the top half of the net before it's over.
Ronning at center ice for Canada with Hutton out there. Just 1 second left in the penalties. Now both teams back to full strength. Here's Ronning. Gets that score. No, he rattled that one just wide. I thought it was in.
See how smooth that Ronning is, Johnny? Even fooled you.
I thought he had that one. Hutton. Ahead on the right side for Ronning. Harrin in across the Canadian line. Clark comes up with it for Canada. Ronning. Chance for Canada here, 2-on-1. Clark leading the way with Joseph. Trying to slide it through for Joseph, and it hit the Soviet stick. Soviets right back, long shot. Fired wide as Raymond came out. Here's Znarok again, and he fired wide again. Five to 1, the Soviets leading Team Canada with 9:25 to play in the third period. Heavyweight boxing ahead on the Sports Network Thursday with Willie DeWitt against Jeff Jordan. We'll have it for you at 9:30 Eastern, live from the Calgary Corral on TSN.
I hope Big Willie puts him away in a hurry.
Oh, we're hoping this one may last a little while.
Well, let's just say puts them away, then never mind the hurry.
Yeah, not too early. Shot Raymond. Made the save that time on Smirnov.
Can Willie skate, do you know?
I think he played a little hockey.
That's enough. He doesn't have to play a lot.
I think he can stand up on the blades. He's from Grand Prairie, Alberta.
Must have played some when he was a kid.
I'm sure he did.
Well, Team Canada's not going to get in this series too much offense against the Soviets unless they challenge them one-on-one and beat them occasionally one-on-one. It seems to me that the Soviet team are coming back, picking up the open man, picking up the trailer, as good as or better than I've ever seen them before. So in order to get home free or get the puck to an open man, the guy with the puck's going to have to beat somebody.
Zalapsky for Team Canada now. Checked at center ice.
Guy's got good wheels, Howie. Zalapsky's got... He's going to go high as a draft. If he can learn to become a good defensive defenseman, he might become a good player.
Greenlaw got it off on the other side. Here's a chance for Canada. Miller going in. Scores! Mike Miller!
Good shot. But Howie, that goaltender, his rear end was 1.5 inches from the crossbar.
Watch the cross ice pass to Miller. Who made it? I was just thinking, gee whiz, that's a long way to pass the puck. There, whoever made that pass, look at that, right on the money. Miller tees it up and lets it go. The goaltender had to be coming out. He come across, he's back in the net.
Bowling, you know that puck might have skipped? Let's have a look at it here and see. It hit the defenseman. No wonder the goaltender looked like he missed it, but it hit the defenseman's skate and went in.
The youngster there just received the pass exceptionally well, teed it up and got good wood on it. Got it away in a hurry.
Bouillon with the setup on Mike Miller's goal. It is 5-2.
How do you bottle that, baby?
Another chance for Canada. The save by Shundrav. Kept in at the line by Felix. In after it is Herkus. Herkus along the boards. Got it back to the line. It's kept in by Anderson. Here's Anderson. Clearing out in front of the net. And a shot there. Hit a stick. And went wide. Herkus took the shot. Felix can't keep it in. 5-2. The Soviets leading Team Canada. Davydov, 27. Now Joseph for Canada. Ahead for Herkus. Herkus to McLaren at the line. Joseph is out in front. There's a shot. Shundrav the save. Roy right out in front, and McLaren couldn't get to it. Now Roy, another shot.
That's 2 great shifts in a row for Canada.
Here's McLaren, sharp angle. Tried to clear it out front. Shundrav is down at the side of the net to smother it.
Well, I can tell you there's going to be a little bitterness before this series ends, the high sticking and retaliatory play, especially by the Russians. There's something that surprises me a little. 8 games in 10 nights. They're going to be killing each other before it's over. The Russians must think they're over here on a goodwill trip to have fun, and the Canadians are putting their nose into it. It's nice to see.
They applied just tremendous pressure, good pursuit of the puck, and when they did get it, made the right play, either a pass to an open teammate or a shot in the net.
Soviets back to the Canadian line and across. This is Pavlov, his shot blocked. Out in front again. Canada able to clear. And a good move to get away from a check by Newell Brown. Brown got it into the middle. There's a penalty coming up to the Soviets. Brown fed it through for Perry Proft, and he was taken out.
I don't think Dave King will do this now, but if the score was 5-4, he might measure a stick here, Holly, to get a double penalty.
I would have to say that was a very questionable penalty. The Soviet player came back, made contact with the Team Canada player, but bit of a dive.
Torgayev is up.
Tony Faven hot.
He's got the box to stand on so he can see over top.
He's got got the next line. He just told the next line that Fabian and Hutton's line's going out there to play the second half of this power play.
He's mixed his lines up a little bit. He's got Ronning with two new wingers.
Oh!
McLaren had a chance there. Shundrav made the save. Here's Yanni. His shot. Now Ronning scores! Ronning on the rebound. Coming out. It is 5-3. This one.
Well, it came off the end
to go.
The wide shot by Yanni came off the end of the rink. And Ronning with a stick as quick as a cat put it in. This is the one McLaren. He usually puts those away.
I think he just got rid of it too soon there. Here's the pass right into the center of the ice. There's the shot. Now watch Ronning in front. Turned around, and lo and behold, there was the puck, and he put it in the net.
He missed it on the tip on the way in, but Ronning's made a living 4 feet off the west side of the net.
A power play goal for Ronning. It is 5-3.
Well, this should be a great last 6.5 minutes. No use Canada hanging on here, trying to keep it close. They better go for it here and try to make sure that they don't give up any easy chances. If they ever get the next one,
be a great finish, depending on when they get the next one.
Well, you could smell that one coming. They certainly, in 3 consecutive shifts, applied tremendous pressure, never stopped skating, never stopped taking the man and doing something constructive when they had the puck. Had tries on the net.
Look at Ronning here. He's getting a little frisky with this big Russian center. The referee did him a favor by getting him out of the faceoff.
Miller moves in, lost the draw. Back to the line, kept in by Chris Felix. Just Felix got it along the boards. Here's Miller. Miller for Canada. 2 Soviets on top of him. Now Ronning comes up with it. McLaren unable to keep it in. Anderson for Canada. Pryakin clears it to an open wing, and Felix is there for Team Canada. Over for Anderson.
Green, number 15, has himself a couple of goals, but the last 3 times he handled a puck and behind his own blue line, he gave it to Team Canada.
Miller clears it all the way down. It'll be icing called against Canada as Fokine touches the puck. 5:34 left in the final period, a 2-goal difference, 5-3, Moscow selects.
Well, you have to admire Team Canada's spunk. They were 5-1. Those kind of games can go to 10-1 if you're not careful, and they've made a heck of a comeback here.
Tony Fabenhut. Tony Fabenhut. No. Sergio, get out there. He's playing forward.
He's changing the face-off alignment here. Doesn't like what he sees, and Sergio got some last-minute orders. Sergio Roy, that is.
Serge Roy, more commonly known as, this is Greenlaw. Greenlaw got it ahead for Zalapsky. Soviets clear it quickly. Canada back behind its own line. This is Jeff Greenlaw. Greenlaw into the corner. Soviets get there first. Now Zalapsky along the boards, gets it back for Benning. Benning dumps it in out in front. Loose there for a moment. Yazmikin for the Soviets. Ridden out of the play. His shot trickled to the side of the net, and Raymond held on to it there. At the 88 Olympics in Calgary, Canadian athletes will go for gold. That's what Sports Canada's best ever assistance program is all about. 4:55 remaining, 3rd period.
I like this guy, Trent Yanni. Chicago made a good choice in him. He's really improved since last year when I saw him in Saskatoon. We may see him in a hockey uniform the next 2 or 3 years.
Davydov for the Soviets in against 2 Canadians along the boards, and they hold for a face-off.
You know, Canadian teams earlier on, we got involved with Europeans, were very, very reluctant to go in and chase the puck and send anybody in because their ability to make that long pass, and we used to play them more in center ice and take it away from them there. And now it appears if you go in and put the pressure to them, you can be successful at it.
Hutton leads Canada out of the zone with a long pass for Herkus across 2 lines.
One more step. Hutton forgot where he was. Another half a step, and that pass would have been onside instead of offside.
I think the youngster you're looking at there thought it was a legal pass, and they thought he called him for being offside. He was not.
Face-off inside the Canadian zone. 4:35 to play. Final period, 5-3 Soviets leading Team Canada. Loose puck came right out in front to the Soviets. Davydov, his shot off a stick and over the net. This is Gальченюк clearing it into the Canadian zone. Yanni has it for Canada now. His pass doesn't connect through the center ice zone. Now Doug Clark comes up with it for Canada. Clark lost it. Poked in by Herkus. Roy is in after it. It comes to Serge Roy. Roy tried to get it out front. It comes back to the line. Clark winds up. The save by Shundrav.
Good shot. Pretty good stop, and then the goalie recovered, found the puck while he was falling down, luckily enough, for the Canadian player might have tapped it in on him.
You wonder sometimes how those pucks ever get through that traffic, and how the goaltender ever sees them. They're magicians. You know, you watch this game, and all of a sudden you see somebody consistently do something that you like, and that Trent Yanni 3 or 4 times has handled a puck and could have taken a physical beating for it, but he's made the play and at the risk of taking the beating. I like that.
Icing called against the Soviets. They'll take it back for another face-off in the Moscow Select Zone. 3:42 to play, 3rd period. 5-3. The Soviets leading Canada. This is Perry Prof taking a shot, and that one didn't miss by much, off a stick. Pavlov along the boards gets it into the Canadian zone. Back forward is Chris Felix. Pavlov tried to center it. Well played by Anderson. Felix takes a check. Soviets can't quite keep it in. This is Bабинов. Back for Fokine. Sean Anderson gets to the Soviet line just across. Pavlov starts back for the Moscow Selects. Pavlov down the left side this time. Anderson got back to take it away. Over for Benning. Into the Soviet zone, Fokine. Harine now, number 15. He has 2 goals, the first 2 of the night. Nemchinov scores! Raymond came out. Nemchinov makes it 6-3.
Well, Pryakin's in on it again, number 31, and he stayed onside this time and just wove across center and just dropped the puck. And again, this type of goal should not be scored. The youngster has to come out, stand up, stick in the ice, and let the shot hit him.
The defenseman, how he actually played it pretty well. They let him switch, and they each stayed with their new guy. And it was just a wrist shot from 30 feet out and beat him on the short side. And you know how much you hate those short side goals. You talk about them all the time. You must have got a few in your day.
No, I had goaltenders let a few in, and they didn't stay around very long.
The short side was the Pittsburgh.
They score again. Nemchinov has 2 in a row, and Pryakin was in on that one as well.
Well, again, if you have to pick an outstanding player in the Soviet team, that great big Pryakin, Grigor, is it Sergei Pryakin. He's got to be 6'3", 6'4", skates like the wind, makes plays, shoots bullets, and likes the rough going. He is something else.
Another goal through the goalie, though. I hate to knock Raymond because he's played some decent hockey tonight, but you got to close up that 5-hole and get hit with a few of those.
Couple of softies. Into the final 2 minutes, final period now. Greenlaw into the corner. And it's cleared out by the Soviets. Yanni for Team Canada.
The time, 17:46. Nemchinov.
Yanni still with the puck. Lays it out for Greenlaw. He can't catch up to it.
Yanni's still a junior, you know, Howie. He could have played junior this year, so he'll be a guy who really benefit from this experience, I think, and he's a lot closer to the National League than he would have been had he stayed and played in the Junior League in Canada.
Soviets on the attack once more. This is I.Gimaev. Yanni broke it up over for Greenlaw on the right side. He kicks it back to Yanni, who takes a check from Prokhorov.
Well, two things. It's been a tremendous hockey game, and I'm just sorry as all get out that there's not 15,000 people here, and you just shocked me when they said they were charging $10 a seat. I would think they should go to minor hockey and say, look, give us $2 a seat, sell them for $2.25 and make some money, and let's fill the building. It's this type of hockey here, speed, skill, and finesse, that's going to get the kid to the National Hockey League. And if the parents sit down and watch this, and the coaches around the country sit down and watch this, maybe minor hockey across the country will be much better for it. It's great entertainment, but the place has to be full.
Well, Howie, the next 5 games are sold out in this tournament.
Great.
And that'll improve the game. And the people in Elliott Lake and Fort William, Sault Ste. Marie and Noranda, you're going to see some good games here.
Into the final minute now. Final period. Hutton is offside with Karpin at the Soviet line.
And they got to go back again. John and I talked about it, Harry, between periods. If you can make Canada's national team and play for them, that's the best way to go head and shoulders into the National Hockey League. And for me, the second best way is American University hockey. But nevertheless, this is the prime way to go, kids. If you got any ability at all, a chance to play for Team Canada, you're years ahead playing for them.
Well, I kind of agree with you, Howie, but I feel sorry for the junior operators. Here, the National League's taking players before they're finished junior. Now Team Canada is. Is that fair, or do you think?
That's fair. All you have to do is teach speed, skill, and finesse in the early years to the hundreds of thousands of kids who start out, and you'll have the country full of 16-year-olds with skills. All the junior operator has to do is get involved in minor hockey in the community and see the kid as a chance to play and teach him some skills.
Can they do that playing 75 games a year?
No. Well, the kids in the early years, yeah.
But I mean at the junior level?
No. Can't do it.
Into the final 8 seconds now. At the Soviet line, broken up there. And that's going to be the hockey game. Canada had some moments and trailed by only 2-1 coming into the third period. But 4 quick goals by the Soviets. And the final score reads 7-3. Shots on goal ended even, 26 each way. As you said, Howie Meeker, pretty good hockey game in spurts, and but for an outburst, we might have had a pretty good finish, but for a Soviet outburst early in the third period.
Well, it was worth the cash to see Harин play, Nemchinov and Pryakin. Just 3 players highly skilled and worked extremely well together.
We are ready now for the final presentations.
Bank Defensive Player Award. We call on James Patterson, the Assistant General Manager and Branch Manager, Continental Bank, Calgary. And the player chosen by the media panel as the Defensive Player of the game for the Moscow Selects, number 5, defenseman Yuri Vozakov.
I mentioned him earlier, folks. He's about 5'6", built like a tank. But does he swing the lumber when you go around the outside? Don't go around him. You pays the price. Like Kostopoulos when he was with Hartford. He went around the outside of him.
Valuable player award
Sign it, your death warrant.
To make that presentation, we call on Don Ross, Consumer Area Manager, Esso Petroleum Canada. The MVP for the Moscow Selects, number 15, Sergei Karin.
Well, Karin got 2 goals, including the first one 16 seconds into the hockey game.
Well, I don't agree with that call at all. It's a good choice, but the best choice head and shoulders Pryakin, I think.
Doug Balfour, promotions coordinator for Labatt's Alberta Brewery. And the player voted MVP for Team Canada, number 7, Mike Miller.
So the players of the game, Vozakov for the Continental Bank Award is the best defensive player. Top Soviet, Sergei Karin. And the top Canadian for the Labatt Award, Mark Miller. Final score for the Soviet 7 for Team Canada 3.